Lynda Kanase with Icrafter. So excited to be here with you at the Paper Wizard Shop and Show. If you're seeing this recording, that means there was some kind of hiccup with the live workshop, but I'm still glad to be here and glad that we can be sharing this time together. A little bit about Icrafter. We are a paper crafting company specializing in dies and stamps and other products, our tools and things like that. We launched at Creativation in January of 2020. Then a pandemic hit, but we have been creating and having fun and just growing in this paper crafting industry. So excited again to be here. So I'm going to be showing you how to make the 3D pine tree that's in your workshop kit. And some of you may have a pink tree, and some of you may have an aqua color tree. We were making them in various complementary colors that we thought people would enjoy. So the sample I'm going to be showing you today, here is a pink tree. So if you have an aqua color tree, it's made in the same way, same steps, it's just a different color. So we're making, again, it's a 3D pine tree, and it's a die set by Icrafter. It creates, let me go ahead and turn the camera down so you can see what it does. So this is the packaging for it. So I want to share what you'll find in your kit from Icrafter. You'll find 4 of these triangular pieces, which are the tree trunk. You will find 10 of the branch sets, 2 large, 2 medium, 2 middle size, 2 little bit smaller, and 2 small ones. You will find a gold star and a gold banner and a jar of Stampendous Fuzzy Fun Flock. Thank you to Stampendous for that. The first thing you want to do is set your tree branches aside. And here's where I could explain too about the branches. Because you're cutting 2 of the same shape, they will tend to look symmetrical because it is the same shape. So you could see that. So what I designed it to be was asymmetrical, so when you're laying out the tree, you flip one and it will always be varied, so that it'll look more like a real tree where the branches are all different. We're going to concentrate on the triangle pieces. And if you look at them, they have a crease right down the middle. You can see that. And what we're going to do is fold all of these pieces in half. And it gets a little more tricky at the tip. So you want to work it slowly so that the point at the top is folds nicely. I use our iPress burnisher, which has a flat head here, so it's like a bone folder, and then it has a round ball, and it comes with the foam pad so you can make dimensional flowers, but I find I use the bone folder size the most. So I'm just folding the tip so it's nice and clean, and I'm just folding it along. You can do this without a bone folder, but it works just as well if you're folding by hand, or you just have to pinch it harder. So again, I'm just going to do all 4 of these pieces. So you want to line up these pieces. I have my liquid adhesive. And what I'm going to do is on one of the folded sides here, I'm going to just apply my adhesive, liquid adhesive. Okay. And then you take the next one so when you're adhering the pieces together, these strips together, you want to leave a little bit of a gap at the very tip. Okay, so you want to glue all these. So what you end up with are these 2 pieces glued together, if you could see that. And then we're going to do the same thing. It's just easier to do it when it's folded. And I'm just not taking the glue all the way to the top, because that's where we're going to add the star, but I'm just lining it up again along the back side of it. So the fold parts are straight. You want the bottom here to be straight and flat so that it can stand up. And you could leave a little bit of a gap at the top. Okay, so now we have 3 pieces. We're going to do the 4th piece. And just like that. So now we have all 4 pieces glued together. So what we're going to do is complete it by putting some adhesive on the final side that's left. Okay, and then we're going to just open it up so that that last edge glues together with the first exposed edge. So what we're ending up with is an X shape. You can see it right there. So what you can do is, to glue it all together, make sure it's all nice, is to fold it flat, one side each, and then fold it again this way, and just push everything so that it folds nice and smooth. Again, you want to make sure the bottom here is smooth or flat, and that all of these are glued together. And so you end up with there's from the bottom, you can see it better. You have the crisscross there. So that's where we're going to have the tree trunk. Next thing we're going to do is we are going, and I just have a scrap piece of printer paper that I'm going to use to add the. So starting with the biggest size, again, you'll notice they are identical unless you flip one. So make sure you flip one side. So you always have it one side up and one side down. Okay, and now we're going to add the liquid adhesive. Now I suggest quite a bit so that you get more flocking on it. You want to do it right along the edges, and the more glue you put down and the more dimensional the glue you put down, the more flock is going to stay there. And you could, if you have like liquid glue that stays wet for quite a while, you could do the whole branch. And I am just loading this up with glue. And just remember, if you draw a narrow line, then your glue will be a narrow line. If you draw, if you put down big blobs of glue, you will get big blobs of snow. So it depends on what you want your tree to look like. I find that covering more area is nicer. So it's not just blobs of glue, it is spread out a little bit more, because it will literally, well, obviously, hold only where you have the glue. So that's where we're going to stop right now. You can see where the glue is on that. I'll see if I can lift this up so you can see it a little bit better. So that's the glue, liquid glue, and I didn't put it in the center there. And I'm just going to take the jar, and I've done so many trees with this already, so there is plenty of flocking to go around. You want to put a nice coat, and you're going to pour it back into the jar, so you can be very generous with it, but you do want to make sure that wherever there was glue or adhesive, it will stay there. Okay, so you want to set this aside because you want it to dry completely before we do anything. Now remember, this is the one we worked on the back side of the die cut, because you know there's a front side and a back side. So I'm going to shake off, gently tap it, and you can see now where the flock will be sitting. And again, you can add more if you want, but I'm going to stop there. I'm just going to set it aside to dry. There's a second one, and I'm just going to again apply my flocking to it, like that. But even if it does come out in a big blob like that, you still have plenty in the jar and it all goes back in. So I recommend, being generous with it and covering over as much as you can. And I'm going to, you can see how crazy that looks. And I'm just going to gently turn it over and tap the center. And now you can see how much snow went on this branch. So now that I have, the jar is almost empty, I'm going to take this, and you want to very carefully pour it back in. It looks like a full jar again. It's just funny. It's the way it works that way. Okay, so now we're going on to the next size of die cut branches, and I'm flipping one again. Okay, doing the same thing again. I'm going to add a bunch of adhesive on this. The other thing too is you can make plenty of these, and I had someone who made it out of gold cardstock and used it as a table centerpiece. They did several sizes and it was gorgeous. And I'm going to show you on our sample of how to put a name on there. I'm going to let that dry while I work on the second one. But that's what the gold banner is for in your kit, is we're going to add someone's name or a greeting. Depends on what you want to add to it. So it could be like a what is that? A place setting. So I'm just setting that aside to dry. Same thing with this one. Gently tapping it off. I don't want to tap too hard. So again, we have two sides. Turn one upside down. Okay, so once these are dry, shake them off, set them aside. Same thing, and we're just going to repeat it on the last four. Now, just remember, although the flock looks nice and dry, the glue underneath is very wet, so you definitely want it to sit there and dry. Repeating the same thing, flipping one over, and just adding the glue on it. When they get small like this, they're much easier. Now, these little ones are going to be one of these is going to be at the very top of the tree. So you do want to add probably a little bit more. I'm going to take this one and I'm going to add a lot more. Well, it's a small piece, but I'm just going to cover the whole thing with adhesive so the snow or the flock is completely over it. And this is a nice thing about the reverse tweezers. They hold so well, so they're great to grab these, just a tiny corner and it holds it. Okay, so that is putting the adhesive or the snow on the branches. I just placed it on a piece of printer paper again, just to let it dry and so that I could move it about. And I have the tree trunk here. As I assemble it, it's really simple. The crosshairs in there, let me show it this way. The crosshairs, if you could see, there's, with the 4 branches or the 4 tree trunks, it fits onto there. It just slides down. Now, starting at the smallest top, you let go, and it will slide all the way down to where it stops, which is roughly, what is that, 5/8 from the bottom. So you could stop it right there. And what I suggest doing, because we're going to do this all the way up, and I'll show you real carefully here, is with your adhesive, you just want to add a little bit of a bead of adhesive along each corner. Now, the reason I'm doing this, it's not so necessary on this first one because it's locked in place by, it can't go any lower, but it also keeps it, you can make it sit very straight as you go. So that is the reason on that. And we're going to add adhesive as we go up between each branch level. So it doesn't hurt to do it on the first level there too. So I'm just going to take this next one, and because we flipped it, we know it won't be symmetrical with the one below it. So we don't have to worry about it looking fake. It'll look more like random tree branches. Now, again, this one will be the same. As you can see, it went all the way to the bottom because it is the same opening width. So we're going to pull it up about, and it works, you could do it about upside down. So I'm pulling it up about 1/2 inch. Do you see the 1/2 inch area in here? Okay, so about 1/2 inch. And you want to make it straight. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take our adhesive and do the same bead. I don't know if you could see that from where the camera is. And we're just going to keep it so that it doesn't move down. And it's just a small bead of adhesive. And after you put the bead down, you could adjust it so that it is the same distance away. And I'm kind of doing it without actually seeing it. Okay, so you want to keep the branches about 1/2 inch away from the one below it. And you want it straight. And I know mine's coming crooked because I keep turning it. But if you're doing it, if you're taking your time and doing it, you can actually turn it sideways like this and see where everything's going. And just make sure and hold it in place. Again, you want about 1/2 inch there. And it will hold nicely once it's dry. So, and you want to make sure your adhesive is a clear drying adhesive and that it has some texture to it. What do I want to say? The glue, the adhesive that you use has some body to it so that it holds the pieces in place. Okay. If you want, you could use hot glue in there. If you want to sit and do it with that, it actually works much better with hot glue because it seals it immediately and holds it in place as opposed to liquid glue. But it's also limiting in the fact that having a glue gun moving around when you're in a workshop like this is also difficult. So that is 2 of the largest sizes. Now we're going to go on to the next size and gently place that down. We'll take the next size, and again, really you should take some time to let everything dry a little bit better, but I'm just going to keep moving along. Now this one will drop down until it can't go down anymore. So there's the third height, and you see it's about the same distance from the one below it. Again, I would suggest putting some adhesive in there, just a bead along the way. It won't go down any further, but it just kind of keeps it in place so it doesn't angle as much. So you just kind of want to keep it straight and down. Now this one will be the same size as the one we just did, so you do need to stop it along the way and add, again, a bead of adhesive in there. And it's, again, just about 1/2 inch from the one before. And it may look a little messy to start, but once it's dry, it will be nice. So I'm just going to try to get it straight so it dries flat. If you set it vertically like I have it sitting like this, it will drop down a little bit, so you can hold it sideways and let it dry this way. I'm going to keep moving along and take the next one and add that down the tree trunk, and you can see how it's slowly building. And you just want to, and this will stop on its own. So you just want to add a bead of adhesive. Again, I can tell it needs to dry a little bit more, but you just want to keep doing that until you get to the top branch. And I would also suggest you take a little more time to let the glue dry in between. We're just going to keep going. So I just want to make sure we have enough time to finish off this project in the allotted time. I hope everyone's having fun with all these projects that Bonnie is offering to everyone. What a great event that she's holding. So while I'm letting this dry, I'm going to show you this. This is a tree that I made, same style. The tree trunk is in brown. I used 3 different shades of green cardstock so that it has a ombre effect, and it looks cool when you look straight down at it. So I did the snow. I didn't do as much snow as I did on the pink one, but you can see there is some snow flock on it. I just love the way this, the 3 colors of green. You could do even more shades of the same color and just do a really, really pretty dimensional piece. The other thing I want to mention too is before you build this, you may want to cut the tree trunk down. Okay, so see how long it is. You could actually trim the tree trunk down and have fewer branches, so you have shorter trees. You can have trees of all different heights in there. So I just want to let you know about that fun option as well. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and go back and work on our tree and hope that gave it a little bit of time to dry. So the main thing you want to make sure is that you're doing the right size in the right order. So I guess trees can come in all different sizes, but for what we're doing, you kind of want it to all be the right sizes going in the right order. So, and again, this would be much better to sit and dry, but I'm just going to keep going so that we have time to, okay, so we have time to embellish this, and I want to show a few more examples. Oh, it seems to be going well. Seems to be drying pretty nicely. So I only have 2 more little pieces left to go, so we can see we have about the right distance. And if you remember, we did 1 piece with a lot of flock on it, so that'll be the very top piece, and then we have one that has a little less flock. And grab this last piece, add it on top there. Now at this point, you could see where we might want to move that one up just a bit, and I'm going to put the blobs of adhesive to hold it in place. It does work better, obviously, holding it horizontally like this, because it gives it time to dry without gravity pulling it downwards and out of place. So I guess the thing too is try to make everything flat, horizontally flat. So it's getting there, it's drying. And now the last piece is the one with the most flock on it. And we're going to add it to the top of the tree. Flock adhesive is still a little damp, so that really should have had a little more time to dry, but you can see now it is the last piece, so I'm just going to add little bits of adhesive to hold it in place. So I'm just going to hold it horizontally like this, so these last pieces can align better. So I'm just going to let it dry like that. What we also have star that will go at the top of the tree. It's in your kit. So once this is more dry, we will add the star on the top of our tree. And I could explain this too while we're sitting here holding this drying. The banner is from a separate die set, the Tunnel Card Swan. And what you can do, if you want, a couple things. One, if you're doing like a home decor piece, you could write maybe Merry Christmas on it. You can, I don't know, Happy Holidays, whatever you want to write on it. If you're doing it as a table place setting, you could write the person's name on this, and so it tells people where they're sitting, and they will be, it'll personalize it for everybody. It'd be a really sweet thing to do. So leave it up to you how you want to use the banner. The star, and again, if you remember when we glued the tree trunks together, we didn't put glue all the way to the top point. And the reason will be, we're going to stick the star on it, but not sure yet which is the front side. I kind of like looking at the tree after it's at this point and determining where the front is. So on the top of the tree, because there's a little cross, you know, where the four pieces came together, this is actually going to slide in between, a little bit of an opening there, and stick the star in there. I made a little opening at the top here. I'm just going to put a little dab of adhesive inside and lay the star in there to let it hold. Oops, there it goes. And again, I'm going to let everything dry. And you can see this one went down while I was... So I'm going to turn it sideways and let everything dry, and I'll be right back. So here is a tree with the star on top, still drying horizontally. It's almost completely dry, but I'm just showing it to the camera this way. You can see when you turn it this way how pretty it looks with the flock on it. And then, so something else I wanted to show before I show about the gold banner is, here's another version of it with glitter. Can you see all the glitter on it? And the thing is too, is that the branches are, let me turn it this way, can you see that? The branches are kind of bent downwards, so they look a little more like a real tree would look with gravity pulling the branches down. So you just want this to sit and dry completely. What we're going to do again is, if you have whatever you want to write on your gold banner, then we are just, because the star tells us where the front of the tree is, we're just going to glue that in here. You could either do it on the bottom branch, you could do it on any of the branches that you want. And we're just going to hold it in place with some glue on the back side. I can just write, and it's just a regular Sharpie pen that I'm using. I'm just going to write Bonnie's name. I'm leaving it where the front of the tree would be because of the other star. And then I'm just going to hold it in place. Let me get my adhesive. And I'm just using, this time again, I'm going to use just my liquid adhesive. And the tree kind of sits at an angle. And I'm just going to add some blobs of glue. You just kind of see where it's going to sit. And it's not an exact science. It's not, there's nothing clipping it in there. It's just going to dry, holding it in place. Roughly one sheet of 12 by 12 cardstock can make one tree in one color. And there, that is holding in place now. So you have your table decoration, and you have a tree that is, I'm going to put this one here again because from the top down, I love the ombre effect of that. I'm going to switch the camera back. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for joining me on this project. Great decoration. Again, you could do it in gold cardstock, gold foil cardstock, and make a beautiful, sophisticated place setting. You can do a bunch of trees. Maybe you do a whole bunch in white or creamy white color, and put the flock on it and have it as a forest on your mantelpiece. There's so much you can do with this. We absolutely love playing with these trees, so I hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much for joining us at this shop and show. And I want to thank Bonnie so much, and Paper Wizard in general, to thank them for allowing us to be part of this wonderful experience. So I hope you enjoyed that. Again, I'm Lynda Kanase from Icrafter. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.